Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia and welcome back to the channel. And shit has just suddenly turned for the worse, like suddenly get really dark. And so it all started with Macron sending an urgent message to Europe. And in this article, which I have no access, basically he revealed something very serious. He basically said that they actually have a condition. They are actually willing to send troops to Ukraine under two conditions. And so the two conditions, if I didn't remember wrongly, I'm not sure if they wrote it here, is a breakthrough of the Russian forces hitting Kiev. And I think there's another one, I remember reading it somewhere. So, yeah, I forgot where is it. I think massing troops break through the defense line, blah blah blah. So here this article did not write it. So basically, I know one of them is actually a breakthrough towards Kiev, and this triggered the Russians because yeah, this is crazy because and it actually triggered the entire front. All the opposition leaders, everyone in France was triggered that the Macron is saying that he is willing to send French troops into Ukraine. Then, and on top of this, if you think this is not enough, David Cameron of United Kingdoms also revealed something crazy. He said that he's going to lift restriction on the use of British weapons against Russia. So basically, David Cameron says that they have now allowed the Ukrainians to fire British-made weapons into Russia itself. So far, if I'm not wrong, most of the weapons the Ukrainians have used to strike targets within Russia are all Ukrainian made. They are usually drones and whatnot. With exception maybe in the Belgorod region, the shellings into the city, it's hard to say because those are artillery shells or multiple launch rocket systems, mortars, but they have not really used major foreign weapons to fire at Russian targets. But the problem is that America has officially announced that they have sent the attack ATACMS, which have 300 kilometer range for Ukraine to use. And if this becomes a norm, or this is not fought back, then more countries will be, saying that it's okay to use their weapons into Russia itself, and having HIMARS and all this, able to fire long-range systems. It will be a problem. Of course, we already have Storm Shadows, but so far they have been used exclusively for Crimea. So this is a very serious situation, and because of these developments, I have moved the entire World War III stream to within this week, because the Russian reaction is extreme. They are very, very triggered by by whatever have developed. So so when Lavrov was asked about Macron, say, what do you have to say?
Most recent remarks on sending troops to Ukraine.
He laughed. And he did not answer. So yeah, Russia so far still do not believe that France would dare to do something like this, but they still reacted. Of course, Ukraine is very happy, to hear that NATO troops will now be willing to be deployed in Ukraine some way and somehow, and they said that they will be grateful, regardless is soldier, instructor, or consultants. So they support anything. They want anything to go into Ukraine. However, the Foreign Affairs Ministry, of course, is not happy about this. They say that this is the first time that a Western politician has openly admitted that they are waging a proxy war against Russia through Ukraine, because David Cameron basically allow the weapons to be used against Russia in Russia, and basically this is in a way a proxy war of sort. Of course, we can always say that whatever supplies that has been given to Ukraine right now can also be seen as a proxy war, which is true, but in terms of official statement around how you frame the things. They can say that they are just providing Ukraine with arms to defend themselves. It's like arms sales, they're just buying weapons, buying stuff. But to attack the Russian territory is a totally it's a totally different thing. It basically shifts the narrative in a bit. And so Russia reacted badly and now has threatened to strike Britain itself. They basically say that if British weapons is used against Russia and hit Russia, they will start to strike the UK itself. They will not just strike Ukraine. They will start to strike military targets of Great Britain. This is basically war. So what happened is that basically they are declaring war essentially against UK should UK's weapon be hitting Russia, and as such the Russian Defense Ministry have posted the telegram. I cannot show you the telegram because you may see some other stuff, so I'm going to use the article by Reuters. So saying that if the Russians is now practicing using tactical nuclear weapons. They say that they are holding military exercise that will include the use of tactical nuclear weapons, as directly because of provocative statements from Western officials. So this is actually referring to Macron and David Cameron. They say that the exercise is ordered by Putin and they will test the readiness of the non-strategic nuclear force. So it's not just strategic nuclear force. Strategic nuclear force is the big nuclear weapons that is used to kill off entire countries. But these are tactical nuclear weapons. They are still pretty powerful. Some of these are as powerful as the one dropped in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Even though they are tactical, it's basically it can be used to wipe out entire air bases, entire military bases, entire troops, forces. So, and they say that the drill will include the preparation and deployment of these weaponries, and I'm not sure what kind of weaponries is involved. So they're talking about missile formation and naval. So we'll probably see the rocket forces. I'm not sure if they will be preparing in Belarus. Or do they need to? Because distance wise, right? Maybe they need to fire in Belarus, and also it will also mean Navy ships, particularly submarines. So they may be just doing drills on the firing of such weaponry, but I'm not sure what kind of drill will it be. Or did they even do the drill? Because this is just an announcement, right? They can announce there's a military exercise, but actually you don't even know what they do. That's a possibility. Or they are just doing in front of cameras just to put PR. That's also a possibility. So it may not necessarily be a real exercise. But of course, due diligence wise, I believe Russia would do the actual exercise. And so they say that the exercise is aimed at ensuring Russian territorial integrity and sovereignty in response to provocative statements and threat against by certain Western officials against Russia Federation. So this is actually the first military exercise, I believe, since the beginning of the war in Ukraine, that there is a military exercise that is directed at a certain country or certain officials. Like this is the first time I haven't seen like military exercise being so overtly branded. Like even when like you have the US officials going to Taiwan, China started to fly a lot of planes all around Taiwan and using navies to block off a certain passage. But China also did not just say that this is in reaction to what in reaction of something. They don't. They just do it. They didn't officially say that they are doing certain military exercise in response to US officials going to Taiwan. I don't think they did that. So it's usually implied. But this is overt. Which means that Russia is basically sending out statements saying that if they go to war with UK, then it will not be conventional. They will use nuclear weapons. So this is a bit of a huge escalation. Basically, it's a game of chicken right now. Would UK play this game of chicken? Would they dare to call Russia's bluff? So anyway, And so we have confirmation from Peskov, Dmitry Peskov, which is the spokesman for the Kremlin, confirming that the missile exercises are related to Macron and British officials as well as US Senate about their intention to send troops to Ukraine. So I didn't see about the representative of US Senate talking about sending troops to Ukraine. I think maybe they're just endorsing this, something like this. I didn't see virality in this thing. But the most viral one, of course, is the Macron and Cameron. So as of just now, I think this is 10:45. It's around 2-3 hours ago. The ambassadors of Britain and France have arrived at the Russian Foreign Ministry, and basically they both spent around half an hour in the Foreign Ministry, and they left without talking to the press. The visits is not reported, and there's basically nothing about this. So if you look at this, I think this is the French one, if I'm not wrong. This is the French one, because the French have a diplomatic car which is black. I think this is the British one. So these are all of them leaving. Oh, the British one so sad. They have just a normal sedan. So these are the ones, and so most likely what happened over here at the foreign ministry is that Russia is officially warning the countries via the ambassadors that if they do what they planning to do or publicly said that they will do, then Russia and France or Russia and UK will be in a state of war. Probably this is what they said, because this seems to be what is being implied. So in another tweet which I retweeted, basically saw it more clearly about them leaving, the French one leaving. You can see that they are going to their car, their diplomatic car, and which have the French flag and whatnot. So yeah, so they didn't speak to the press, and according to the information from Bebo, they spent around 30 to 40 minutes there. So, and to really know what is happening, we always look to Medvedev. So Dmitry Medvedev is the previous president and previous prime minister for Russia, and basically his job today, these few years, is to say the things that Putin cannot say. Basically, to say the real thoughts and feelings of Russia in an uncensored way, in a politically incorrect way, to basically say it as it is. Because Putin can't say it, Lavrov also cannot say it, because they are officials, they are representing Russia officially, so they cannot just anyhow say it, because it may end up in war, or it can be read wrongly. They have to be responsible. But no, Medvedev has reached a point where he don't have to be that responsible about what he say. So basically, he calling the B word on the Western elites, calling about sending troops to Ukraine, and including U.S. Congress, French, British, and then this, and of course about Baltic states and Poland. Oh yeah, I forgot about the Baltic states. They are just clapping all the way about all these news, and very happy, very excited about World War III starting. They are all delusional. Anyway, and also the active use of their missile weapons on Russian territory. So he said that this is not just a exacerbation of what, but it's actually a cynical calculation of political dividend. He said that this is a kind of total degradation of the Western ruling class. They say the class do not want to make logical connections between the fundamental points. Sending troops to Ukraine territory will mean direct engagement with the countries in war, which Russia will respond, and it will not be within Russia's border. So as you can see, this is actually a repeat. There is some corroboration of what was already said officially. So you can see that his statement is not exactly his own opinion alone. It's actually Russia's opinion. So he said none of them will be able to hide in Capitol Hill, Elysee Palace, or Downing Street. Number 10, it will be a global catastrophe. Basically, they are warning strikes on leadership or decision-making places. And he said that Kennedy and Khrushchev managed to understand this over 60 years ago, and they decided not to end up in the World War III. But he said that the modern day leaders don't comprehend or don't want to comprehend. So he said that this is why the Russian military is now preparing military exercises, including the use of non-strategic nuclear weapons. So basically, Medvedev is speaking on behalf basically of Russia. He still have positions right now. He is the deputy chair of the Security Council of the Russian Federation. But he's well known to just speak his mouth off. He just say things that is like totally politically incorrect. And I have no doubt that if Putin stepped down, he will be back as president again. And also this person is very, very powerful. He's definitely not his words should not be ignored. That's what I think. So and then this video came back again. This is actually this video I was checking when it came out. Basically, it is actually from the beginning of the war. So this is Putin's words in the early 2022, basically warning Western countries not to intervene in the Ukraine war. He said that anyone who tries to intervene or threaten Russia will know that the response will be immediate and the consequence you'll never encounter in history. So the Russia say that they are ready for any developments, and so a lot this got massively retweeted and shared, not just by Sprinter, but by many channels, and gave me the impression that this might be recent. End up, this is not. This is actually from 2 years ago. So this is the situation right now, and according to Lavrov, Lavrov basically have a different. He basically have a slight different take. He basically read into the politics and say that Macron is actually trying to regain, to help to put France in the leadership position within Europe by trying to out Russophobic the other European countries, to show that they are the leaders, they are willing to do things, lead the way, and it seems like this. There might be a lot of good basis about this because France's international standing is waning, and they are looking weak in front of United Kingdoms and Poland, because especially United Kingdom has been going all out in supporting Ukraine, and Europe in general is very apprehensive or very worried about the Russian aggression or Russian threat. And UK is the one that met it. And you have to also understand that UK has already Brexited from EU. So UK is now outshining France in a way. And France, with their failures in Africa, is looking really bad. So France is trying to show strength in front of the other European leaders. I think this is why we are seeing a lot of weird stuff like France, like Macron in the beginning of the war tried to talk to Putin, try to nego a peace deal or something. It did not work, and it made him look weak. So he started to sell weapons. So because everybody is selling weapons and they have no choice. So it could be a continuation of what happened then. And so according to this article, basically this is Lavrov talking to the Bosnian Serb TV. Basically he said that according to the French leader, the ambition of Adolf Hitler and Napoleon was driven by the fact that this country saw Russia as a threat, which is why they have to invade into Russia. And he said that based on the power system that he understood that is being set up in France today, and how the French tend to see their role in Europe, they don't rule out this anti-Russia position that that Macron might feel like it is necessary to try to become the leader of Europe by leveraging on this topic, which all of Europe seem to be absorbed about. So basically, yeah, that's the situation right now. This is what Lavrov thought, and I think it's very interesting to that he have this perspective, because this is not that commonly mentioned about the French desire for European leadership. Poland definitely has taken their claim in a way by heavily militarizing. I think soon in Europe we will see Poland as one of the most powerful military if they get everything that they are deciding to buy or have ordered. So, and just side note a little bit, the defense minister is now calling for truce of Italy. Is calling for truce in Ukraine and peace negotiation with Russia. This is reported by the Kiev Independent, and basically in November 2023, Guido Crosetto basically said that the time was not yet right for a ceasefire. However, now he's kind of changed. He said that the crisis is now they need to first have a truce, then have peace. So basically, they want a means agreement. But I don't think this is going to work because Russia is winning on the battlefield right now. If you have following me on the war reporting, you probably know that almost every single day nowadays, for the past few weeks, there's one settlement falling to the Russians on a daily basis, almost every day. So Russia is now winning quite a bit in the military front, so there is no reason for Russia to negotiate anymore, which is also why he said that Italy will continue to continue to send arms into Ukraine, because that the only way for Ukraine to have the conditions to achieve truth and peace is to allow them to have weapons to delay and find the time for them to have this negotiating position. But I think it's kind of silly, but whatever it is, Europeans have European positions. Me covering the war on a daily basis to, of course, clearly have a totally different perspective, because I'm more familiar with the military situation, and the leaders themselves don't follow the war in the way how you and I follow. So we follow on a daily basis, right? So we are very close to the action in a way. These people, they receive information from their defense ministry, and the defense ministries, the generals and the commanders and the intel staff may not be reading the situation correctly, because it is more personal. They might believe the Ukrainians' words more, and that's which thus create a false sense of reality. Because if you just believe purely on the Ukrainians' words and totally ignore the Russians' reporting, then what you get is a one-sided cope. In a way, the reality may actually be not so accurate, and that would be we give you the wrong basis points for you to do analysis. So, which is important to cover both sides. And anyone that cover both sides easily know that what is the real situation right now. So, anyway, this is the entire shitstorm that Emmanuel Macron has thrown into the world. And like I said, this is a terrible situation, and we have moved the date, the World War III date, to the next few days, and hopefully Ukraine do not fire any missiles into Russia just to bring UK into the war. It's important to note, if the Ukrainians really have access to these British weapons, they can control and decide what to target. If I'm Ukraine, I'm going to bring UK into the war. I'm going to fire the British missiles into Russia just to bring UK into the war. That's what, if I'm Ukraine, I would do that, because this is the best way to force NATO troops into Ukraine. Anyway, food for thought for you. I'll see you guys in the next update.